This Facebook training is on interaction. You'll hear this word mentioned an awful lot at trainings that you go to. Now I want to explain a little bit about the interaction. I did mention it over a year ago when everybody was product posting all the time on their timelines and there was very little communication going on. So what I actually did, I explained to everybody that you need to make things a little bit more interactive because that's what Facebook want. They want you to engage with other people. So this is where the word interactive post came from. Now, what I want you to do is to look at your selling group. If you're an established distributor and you've been in the business sort of at least a month or more already when you watch this video, and I want you to go back 30 posts. And on the 30 posts, what I want you to do is one piece of paper, write interactive one side and product post the other, and go back through your 30 posts and write how many interactive posts you've done and how many product posts. Okay. And I'm going to show you examples of interactive posts. Now you're not going to be able to see all of this on the video. I do apologize if some of this is some of your posts, but I just had to get them there ready for the presentation. So this is the interactive post. This is find the dog amongst all the pandas. And again, here's another one. Who remembers the children's program? So of course that's going to encourage communication. And here's another one, just for fun. Find the 6 words in the picture. Please don't give us any clues. And what happens is people write underneath and there's a lot of communication coming from all the group because people love quizzes. And again, here's another one. How many objects can you identify? Another one here. Can you find the different skates? Okay, so you're probably becoming quite familiar with these. Sometimes people put promotional posts on. Sometimes people put videos on, that sort of thing. This one is Find Mr. Sad. Here's another one. What would you choose if you were stuck on a desert island and were only allowed one thing? What would it be? Okay, so people then write their comments underneath. And this is another one. Can you see the panda between the superheroes? And of course, it makes people stay on there and look, and which is really fantastic, isn't it? And of course, there's another one, a word chain. This is probably the most popular one, which is a word search. And people write lots and lots of information underneath. Now, I want you to go back to that bit of paper and have a look. Do you still have a selling group, or do you have a quiz group, motivational post group, video group, everything but selling products? Because that's how people's news feeds are coming on now. Since we mentioned the interaction, it's absolutely blown it right out the water. It really has. I mean, I've never seen so many quizzes, puzzles, competitions run in my life. And what I've noticed, because I'm in hundreds of groups, I've noticed that people aren't actually posting products so much now. So no wonder selling has decreased so much. And that's because people are concentrating on the interaction. Now here, like I mentioned, you've got quiz, jokes, motivation, there's all sorts. But the biggest thing here is it is a one-sided interaction. And when I mentioned that word over a year ago, saying that you've got to get more interactive on your newsfeed, I didn't mean put a post, put a quiz on, and then let 100 people comment on it. That's not what it was about. Here's an example of one. And it's got 126 comments. I mean, that's phenomenal, isn't it? It's fantastic. It's got 17 likes. It's even got 1 share. But that's not interactive. That is one-sided communication. Somebody's posted something and everybody's commenting on underneath it. That is not what Facebook want. Facebook want two-way communication. You put something on, they respond. You respond back. That's communication. Okay, and if you notice, there's not even a like on these posts, and that happens quite a lot. Now, it's not about just going through liking, because likings won't rank you very high. You have to go in and comment individually on each one. And yes, it can be boring and it can be tiresome, but at the end of the day, this is your group. This is where you're going to be selling from your armchair. You know, you don't have much else to do other than, you know, go in and have conversations with people and communicate. I can use an example. My birthday at the beginning of the year, I had over 500 posts from people, part of my warm market on Facebook, commented and said happy birthday, they took the time out of their day to write a quick message about happy birthday. Some sent pictures. Every single person that wrote on my timeline got a personalised response. I'm not joking, it took over 3.5 hours to do. Some of you might say, well, I haven't got that much time to spare. Well, neither did I, really. I had to break it up, and in total it came to 3.5 hours. I even picked up a Facebook restriction for posting and for tagging people's names because I'd done it too much. But what they did is, obviously, when they went in and saw I had a restriction, they realised it was my birthday and a special event. So, the restrictions lifted within about 30 minutes. But that's what I'm saying. It is so important that you make people feel that you appreciate them, that you're communicating with them. It's only a thank you. Try and personalise it if you can. You could go in if there's a word quiz and somebody's found the word love and puts the word love there, and you say, oh, I found that first. Next one says, oh, intelligence. Oh, I saw that, the fifth one. You've got to say something different if you can underneath everyone. And if you can't think of anything, just say thank you for posting. It's not great conversation, but on some of them, you're going to be able to do it. So that is the key. And if you start doing that, you're going to start having all your products shown on the newsfeed again, because this is honestly the reason why everything has slowed down. Now, it's a well-known fact that Facebook do not want overly promotional posts on the newsfeed. So if there is something that people aren't engaged with, no question, Facebook will switch you off. And that's what the algorithm's all about. You rank higher if there's more interaction taking place on the group. Now, I'm going to say, forget the word interaction now, because obviously people have picked that up wrong and think it's just you post, somebody answers. That's not interaction. It's conversation. So have some conversational posts. Put posts on there that if somebody comes up with a different answer, you can answer individually. Really, really think about this, because that's what it's all about. Posts and comments are going to rank you much higher. So if you've got a group that people are commenting and posting on a lot of the time, that's going to show on the newsfeed. Our social selling system group has a really high ranking, really high. So it's absolutely fantastic because of the communication. Just liking something doesn't rank you higher. Okay, so bear that in mind. Like and comment and post. Let's just talk about competitions. I know a lot of you hold competitions in your group, and it has been sort of the buzzword again, along with interaction, for the last year. Duplication is the key, selling and recruitment. Now, when I first set up my group, one of the first things I did was set a competition to get people to add people to the group. Because obviously, the bigger the group, the more orders were coming in. Okay, well, this is when it was relatively new. Now, its competitions are great, but they will soon be running competitions for the person who runs the most competitions. And honestly, that's how it's going. There are so many competitions. Quite seriously, if you wanted to, you could join people's groups, add people, and win about £200 a week on a regular basis if you just tap into the Clean Easy network and do it that way. How crazy is that? I mean, at least 200. You could probably even earn a lot more if you wanted to in prizes. So what's happened now is you've attracted the competition world. And the compers come in, and it's the way they paid for their Christmas, because obviously a lot of them were saying, oh, you go here and you go there and you'll get win the prize. And all they do is add each other. And as soon as they've won the competition, you'll notice your numbers dwindle right down, and that's because they didn't choose to be in there. Having loads of inactive people in your group slows down how many times you get shown on the newsfeed. It doesn't matter how many times I've said this. Honestly, don't have too many in your group, because there are a couple of reasons why. They will look at conversations versus members. So it's gone to the word interaction. It is now conversation. It brings little value. They're not going to show you on the newsfeed if they think you bring little value. Keep posting, you will not be shown. So you can post as much as you like and they're still not going to show you, and that's completely wasting your time. You might as well go out with catalogues, because you're going to get a lot more from catalogues than you would if you're posting and nobody's looking at it. What happens with too many competitions? Well, you spend lots and lots of money, and of course, a brand new person coming in the business is told in some systems, go straight out and do competitions. Well, actually, probably near enough all the systems are telling you to go and do that. You shouldn't. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. What happens is you get despondent distributors because the competitions aren't working as well. Purely and simply because the compa world has just joined in and a lot of them are joining the groups. Then you think it doesn't work for you and you can't do it. Well, you can do it. It's just that maybe you're not doing it the way it should be done. And recruit, but there's little selling. So you can recruit lots of people doing it, but what have you got? You've got a group that nobody buys. What system are you going to teach? Now here's, again, another huge tip for you all. If you have to, start again. I would. Absolutely, I would. And I have done many times. The tip is to have a small group. And the small group, you put your warm market into the small group. And this is what you teach your new distributors. And they put their little selection of warm market. I put my 14 in my group. And from that 14, I asked a few people, is there any chance you could just add a couple of friends that you know, really close friends that you speak to regularly on Facebook? Okay, connections. So they did. And some of them only added a couple. That was fine. The sales started coming in because we're all connected. But the second you go advertising in a group and you're getting people that, wow, you've not got any connection with whatsoever comes into your group, the connections are lost. The group then doesn't bring as much value. So really think about it. When you're teaching your team to promote, go and get more people for the group, it doesn't mean more recruits, and it certainly doesn't mean more sales. My suggestion, quite bluntly, is put a cork in it, stop the competitions for people on Facebook, because they're just absolutely taking us for a ride. Holding competitions have their place, but I believe they shouldn't be used regularly in a group. So, it's quality over quantity, absolutely. Now, with the catalogue system, we first of all, we did massive quantity, and then we realised that just wasn't the way to go. So many systems were developed to get quality. And we've been following the quality system for a long time, sifting through, making sure we've got quality people before we actually go into all of the training. Why on earth wouldn't we transfer that online? Why would we suddenly go back to basics and go and put loads of quantity in there? It never worked then, and it'll never work now. Some competitions can be really good if they're income producing competitions, and I believe the ones on Facebook are not income producing because you've attracted the wrong people. Reward your hard-working team. Why not do that instead? For example, you could hold a competition who found the most innovative way to sell a product online. Maybe a catchy headline, who sold the most bird box, whether you advertised in gardeners groups or wildlife groups. But reward them. Who recruited the most? Why not reward your team? Use that cash that you were spending on all your competitions and do little incentives for your team. Rewarding your new team members to introduce their warm market. Why not tell them that from day one? You've already got the person, you've got the quality person that's joined your business. If you suddenly said, well, I'll give you a £15 voucher, or I'll give you this, I'll give you that. If you go and find loads of sales, first £150 in 3 days, whatever you do, think about it, how you're doing it. And one of the best ones is, here's a £15 Costa Coffee voucher, take your mates for coffee, introduce them to the business. So you can introduce 3 people to the business. If they sat them down and said, oh, I'll take you out for coffee, took them for coffee, and of course introduce them to the business. You don't have to sort of pitch the whole time. You could just say, look, I've got a little online business. People wonder how they're going to approach their warm market. That's the best way is, hey, let me go and treat you for coffee. Your upline's just paid for it. And of course, it's an excellent way for you to get your business known. If you don't get the new recruit, you might actually get a sale, especially if you take a catalogue. So save your money, think about it, money, time, value. If you're going to do a carrot, make sure it's for your team. Make them feel important. They joined you. Don't ignore them. Don't go rewarding a complete stranger who's going to leave your group as soon as they've won the prize.